Hello and welcome to New Earth Lifestyles. The sound of the singing bowl reminding us to breathe. And I am your host, JaneE King. Welcome. Welcome to the last show of 2014. Woohoo! We made it through another year and a day to celebrate. The last day of the year, the end of 2014. And so it gives me pause to slow down because every year seems to fly by. Fly by. Where did the year go? It flew by. We do have one more week left of 2014. However, when you see this show, it may be the end of 2014 because it will be replayed. But today, December 23, 2014, it is live. And so I invite you to call in today, Thursday, December 23, with any questions or thoughts or reminiscences of this past year for you, or any memories you may have of an episode of this show. My plan for today is to really acknowledge all the guests that have appeared here on New Earth Lifestyles in 2014. I do have quite a list of lovely, lovely people of all different walks of life that came on the show to give you an opportunity to look at life from a different perspective, which is the whole mission of this show. New Earth Lifestyles. And as we look at the end of the year, we also want to look at the beginning of 2015. Wow! 2015 is just around the corner. And what will that year bring for you and for me? And I know we like to talk about New Year's resolutions, or setting goals, or looking at your 1-year plan or your 5-year plan. Look at how you're rolling into whatever your life expectations are all about. I may shed a different light on that aspect of it because I tend to allow life to meet me where I am, and the universe, or God, or source energy, knows my intentions, knows where I want to go and where I want to be. And I have slowly but surely learned to relax and allow the universe or my life to unfold for me, showing me the miracles that I could never plan for to come into my life in the right time, in the right way, to help me to move into that which I desire. And so I may be off kilter with some people's desires to set up goals for goal setting, because I've tried that and I just can't stay in that flow of it. So maybe it's me being a Virgo, maybe it's me being a child of the 50s, maybe it's just me being who I am, maybe I come from another planet. I don't know what it is, but goal setting is not something that I can do, because I have tried and it is very difficult. And when I don't stay with my goals, I get down on myself. I get very, very upset with myself and bump heads with myself. And why? I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go on to no longer bumping heads with myself. Stop judging myself, as I invite you to do as well out there. What is life like for you at the end of 2014 and the beginning of 2015? The middle of the century. Wow. Before you know it, it'll be 2020. And what will that be like for us? We can only imagine. And since we can only imagine, we got this pesky thing, hair in my face right here. I gotta just get it out of the way. We can only imagine what it will be like, because we really can't see the future. Even if you go to a fortune teller or a psychic or a medium, as a lot of people that have been on my show are psychics and are mediums, and they do see future events. However, everything is also ruled by what's called free will. We all have this ability to step into our free will. Free will meaning allowing God's will to take us where we'll go, or allowing ourselves to make different choices along our journey of life. And therefore, even though you may get a prophecy from a psychic or something saying, well, this is what's coming up for you, if you know what the psychic is seeing, you can actually change those events by knowing it ahead of time, by preparing yourself and just preparing yourself and looking at your life how you want it to go. Do you want it to go the way that a psychic may have prophesized for you, or do you want it to go a different way? And I know I butt heads lots of times with people that do those kind of prophecies, but I believe we all have the opportunity to shift and to change when someone sees the future. I believe that it can be different. It doesn't have to be. It's not set in stone. There's another aspect of energy medicine, or the energy of the universe, that says that everything, all the past and the present and the future, is all here right now. How can that be? How can the past and the present and the future all be here in this moment? Well, really, that is how psychics read. That is the information they're getting from either the past or the present here, or the future, or from another dimension, or from another space. And that goes into the area of quantum physics or quantum mechanics. And I'm not really versed in all that, but I do believe that everything is here now. And that's how miracles can happen, and how things can appear before us that we can't explain or understand how they happen, because they're in a different dimension, they're in a different place, a different form, a different lifespan. And it helps me also to think about past lives. Is there any such thing as a past life? If everything's here now, past, present, and future, then there is no past life. Everything is in this moment. And that's when mindfulness and all the practices of meditation and being in this present moment are so important, because everything is here right now. And I kind of got off on that tangent, not realizing that that's where I was going in this moment. But that is a great message for the end of the year and the beginning of a new year, to look at that aspect of life and how that resonates with you. Does it resonate with you? I know as I come from a linear scientific mathematical background, I have a degree in mathematics, and I used to be an accountant, and so everything fell in line in this linear fashion of 1 and 1 is 2, and the numbers add up into the columns and all balance. And then I step into this place of alternative medicine, alternative healing modalities, of spirit, of source energy, of the universe, of everything being here now. And I actually am grateful for that background of science, because it helps me to understand how it can be here now. Even though I can't really explain it to you, it gives me that understanding. And the more of us that have that understanding, I think that more it will ripple out and just become a known out into the universe, out into the world, out into your world and the world around us. And I also wanted to mention, from that perspective of everything being here now, and the consciousness of the earth and the consciousness of the universe, really shifting, hopefully, toward a peaceful, compassionate, loving, grateful world. I heard a statistic on the news yesterday or the day before. They were talking about, all the stuff that's in the news about the violence toward policemen and policemen's violence toward, people. And somewhere there was a statistic that said that in this year, 2014, the violence in this country, United States, has dropped. And the number of incarcerated people in prison, has dropped. Wow, isn't that great? We are moving toward into the direction that we want to go. We want violence to subside. We want the number of people in prisons to go down. We want a more peaceful, loving, compassionate, caring, grateful, appreciative society, a place where we feel safe. And so it's interesting that they would give us that statistic kind of side by side with what's happened in New York City, what's happened in Ferguson, what's happened in Florida, things that are happening in between the police and the public and the communities all around the country right now. And it could be that we're just at a boiling point and it's going to all boil over and just simmer back down. And that could be what's going on with all of this violence everywhere in the United States, people against people. It could be that we're hitting that boiling point, and we're hitting that point where we've had enough. Whew. And it's going to simmer down now, and peace is here, and peace can flourish, and all those things that I just spoke about, they can flourish in our lives, in your life, in my life, in your community, in my community, all around us. So let's sing the bowl to that. To the possibility and to recognizing that the consciousness of the planet is shifting, is changing, and all possibilities are present in this moment. And so by making that choice in this moment for that which you desire, it will come into fruition. The more you choose it, the more you make that choice or think about it or acknowledge it or allow it into this present moment. A long time ago, I did go to a week-long retreat with a Buddhist monk, a Vietnamese Buddhist. He's not a monk anymore, I don't believe, but Thich Nhat Hanh is a Buddhist visionary, I guess I will call him, prophet. And that was in the year 2000, I believe, or 2001, that I spent a week up in Escutney, Vermont, with about 800 other people. We inhabited the base of the mountain at Escutney, the ski lodges and the condos and so forth. And being in the presence of Thich Nhat Hanh, who lived through the Vietnam War, who became a Buddhist monk when he was 15 or 16, and spearheaded the peace movement during the Vietnam War, when the war was in his country, when he was watching his countrymen or his Buddhist, his monks, his friends, light themselves on fire as a protest to the war. It was very atrocious stuff that was happening, but he really is the epitome of living in the moment. And when you go to a retreat or be with someone that is able to do that right now, be in this present moment, that energy just ripples out and envelops you, and it shifts you. It shifted me. It changed me. It always is with me, because I can always conjure up that experience for myself of sitting with him on the stage, talking in such a quiet way, and walking meditation, and really focusing on being present in this moment, because this is the only moment. This is the only moment we have. And so why think about the past or think about the future or worry or be concerned about what's going to be happening? Yes, there are some things you need to do to maybe to make dates in your calendar, or to buy your dinner, buy stuff for tonight's dinner and things like that. Or do you? I don't know. You see, I'm believing and I'm working toward in 2015. 2014 was a great year for me. It had ups and downs, but I look back and say, wow, what a great year. What a great year. Yes, I learned so much more about me. And so what was it like for you? Pardon me. What was 2014 like for you? What did you learn? How did you grow as a human being? What are you bringing with you in 2015 and leaving behind in 2014? And so what I say to you now, after speaking about being in the present moment, may contradict itself. And that's okay, because everything pretty much does contradict itself. Life is a contradiction if you look at it really closely. And what is a contradiction but just something we really don't totally understand, I believe. And coming back to the breath, the sacred breath that we're given moment to moment, all of our lives, every second, 24/7, 365 days a year, from the beginning of the day, beginning of your first breath to the end of your last breath. Our breath is always with us, even in this moment. And so it is that your breath can become your best friend. And when I forget to breathe, I notice I come back to, oops, I'm not breathing totally right now. I'm tense, I'm stressed, I'm holding my breath. I notice that I'm not happy. I notice that I'm not in this moment. I'm worried about what's coming up or wish I'd done something different yesterday. However, if I bring myself back to this moment and breathe, because the breath is in this moment, that is healthy. That can bring health back to my life. That can bring happiness and joy into my life. That can help me to smile. And so that was my big thing coming here on the show this year, having my live show, New Earth Lifestyles, became live in 2014. I'm going to that one. And I am so grateful to Manchester TV for this opportunity to come to you once a week in this live 1-hour program and then being shown 3 other times during the week in the recorded portion of the show. I am so very grateful and thankful for this opportunity to see who I truly am that I've never seen before, because I never dreamt I would be on television, and never mind producing my own show, and never mind inviting my own guests and making my own decisions. This is just a miracle that happened for me in 2014. So thank you so much to John Eric O'Neill, who's been majority of my technical director, setting me up, and thank you to Manchester TV for this amazing studio and this amazing equipment. I'm so grateful for that. I also wanted to send out a big, 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 big thank you to my good friend Dawn Drew, because if it weren't for Dawn, I would not be here. Dawn has been my friend for maybe 4 years now, and we've been doing all kinds of psychic events together and workshops together, and we've become like sisters, and I'm so grateful for that friendship. Because it has brought out in me parts of myself I didn't know I had. Dawn is a lot of fun, and she's totally different than me, and if you see her and see me together, you'll wonder why we're together, because we have different styles of clothing, we have different points of view, but there's something about that friendship that there's a magnetism there of connection, and Dawn has introduced me to so many amazing things in this past year, but not only this past year, but maybe in the past 3 years or 4 years since I've known Dawn. And one of them is Busting Loose from the Money Game. That was a really big one that she introduced me to. It's a great book. It's an audio program, and it has changed my life whenever I'm feeling stuck or depressed or what they call it, blocked, or any discomfort in my life. When I remember to do that work, my life changes. And so thank you so much, Dawn, for that, and for all the other programs that she's introduced me to. I think it was Richard Bartlett's stuff, and gosh, I can't even remember all these new ideas and new ways of looking at life that Dawn has introduced into my life. So and I've been sharing them here with you on the show in the past year or so, along with my guests who have been here, which I'm going to talk about shortly. But I want to say mostly thank you so much to Dawn for being an integral part and an especially strong part of my shifting, not only in 2014, but in 13 and 12, whenever it was I first met you, Dawn. Thank you. And then the next person I would like to thank is you, Norman Moody of Norm and Friends. It was through Dawn that I met Norm, on this program. It was the studio in the other room, but that was one of not my first introduction to being on TV, but certainly a supporting part of my coming here and asking to have my own TV show and producing New Earth Lifestyles. If it weren't for you, Norm Moody, and Norm and Friends, that you've invited me to be on your show many times, and I have been on your show many times as a guest. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't be here either. So thank you so much, Norm, for all that you have done for me and inviting me to your psychic events. They've been really wonderful and great networking and connecting in with other people and the public at large that is interested in the work that we do as far as work with spirit, work with the angels, work with what's on the other side, that's the unseen worlds. They're all here right now in this moment, right? So thank you so much, Norm, for being you and for giving me this opportunity to connect with myself in such a way that now I have my own show. And if it weren't for you, Norm, I wouldn't have this show. So thank you so much. So we'll gong to Norm and friends. Thank you. And the next group of people that I would like to thank is you, my audience. Because without you, there is no show, right? Without the viewer, without you watching this. And the people that have called in throughout the year, not live on the show, but you've called me on my phone number that's on the screen and left messages for me about different things or questions that you've had, or different things you had asked me to bring up on the show. And I'm so grateful to get that feedback, and so grateful to be out here for you, to have someone to connect with, and and be here for. So this is a give and take situation. I'm here for you, you're here for me. So feel free to call in right now at 413-0223 if you have anything you'd like to bring up on this last show of 2014 of New Earth Lifestyles. Any reminiscence of anything that came up during the year that you particularly perhaps liked or didn't like, or would like different, or love to see can stay the same. I am open to suggestions. And I want to thank my trusty singing bowl that comes with me every show as long as I remember to bring her. I'm going to call her Her. This is my 7 metals bowl, came from Tibet, and it is tuned to the heart chakra, the energy center of the heart, of love. And that vibration, when I hit the bowl, when I strike the singing bowl, that vibration ripples out, and it helps me to remember to breathe, not only breathing, but to come back to my heart, to come back to my center, and to remember who I am. So thank you to my singing bowl. And why would I thank an inanimate object? Well, as you've heard on the show, if you've been watching the show before, it is alive. Everything is alive. Everything takes in energy and releases energy. Energy cannot be created and it cannot be destroyed. It changes and shifts. And so that my singing bowl has energy in it, and I give thanks to that loving energy, and for supporting me and being here in a way that I can gong you. And so it is. The gong has gonged. So that we've had a lot of guests on my show in 2014. So I wanted to kind of run down the list here as I have it kind of queued up here on this little computer. And so actually, the next person I wanted to give thanks to is Lisa Oulette. Thank you, Lisa, for sponsoring me. She is my sponsor from Manchester, New Hampshire. She is a psychic medium as well, and I met her at a psychic event before I started this show. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you from my heart to your heart for supporting me. And she came on my show. Lisa was on my show earlier this year, and we probably should invite you back. In fact, everyone that I'm going to mention, you have an open invitation to set up time to come back and be on the show and talk about wherever you are right now in your life. So Lisa Oulette from Manchester, New Hampshire, thank you so much for supporting me, for sponsoring me on this show, so that I can reach out and offer to you, the viewer, new ways of looking at life. Things that are off the wall, hearing me say maybe some crazy things, and that's okay. Because there is no normal from my perspective. Normal is something that Western world is trying to kind of trap into these parentheses or these brackets to say this is normal. There is no normal. There is no normal. We are all beautiful beings. We are all children of God, children of the source, children of the universe, all of us. Whether we're in that bracket or outside that bracket. And so there is no normal. We are all beautiful, loving, light beings. And so I give thanks to Lisa for being one of those beautiful light beings that is. I really support you, Lisa, in your success. And you can find Lisa at different places throughout Manchester and southern New Hampshire doing programs. She had a radio show, and I'm sorry that the name of that show is escaping me in this moment, but I think it's Blog Talk Radio, or no, it's Radio Across America. But anyway, Lisa, thank you so much for being on my show and for supporting me and sponsoring me. Oh. And the next person that I would like to give thanks to is Tangi Sampson. Thank you for being on my show. And speaking about singing bowls, that is what Tangi does. Tangi Sampson is from Hooksett, New Hampshire. She brought with her on my show some beautiful singing bowls. And that's where I learned something I didn't know about singing bowls, and that is that these 7 metal bowls, if you look really closely, I don't know, you probably can't see on there on TV, maybe you can, but there are dents where it is actually hand hammered in Tibet, where the monks actually hand hammer. There's 7 metals in this bowl. I don't know all the metals, but there are 7 different metals, and they hand hammer them. And what I learned from Tangi is that every hammer strike is a prayer, and one monk is praying while the other monk is hammering. And so that was amazing to know that this bowl and all the singing bowls that are made in Tibet or by monks are so full of love and care and praying to the universal light force of God or Creator, compassion and gratitude, all going into this inanimate object, which does then have that energy in it, doesn't it? So thank you, Tangi, for that learning and for bringing your bowls onto my show. And another thing, Tangi, we've been in contact now and then throughout the year, and she invited me to a networking event. And that networking event in, I think it was, I don't know if it was November. I think it was in November. It was that also was in Hooksett. Was hosted by a person that I'm going to have as a guest on the show in March of 2015, and that is Debbie Hoffman Adair. Debbie Hoffman Adair. She does amazing coaching or lifting up of women, lifting up of networking, bringing people together to get to know each other and to meet each other and to network and to help grow the community, to support each other. So Debbie Hoffman Adair, she'll be coming on my show, but I was introduced to her through my friend Tangi Sampson. So thank you for that, Tangi. And that's one of the things that happened in 2014. Tangi Sampson, thank you. Carissa Dorman. Carissa was a friend of Lisa Oulette's, and Carissa is an amazing psychic and a medium, and she has gallery events throughout New Hampshire. She is a psychic medium. You can contact her online if you Googled Carissa Dorman, and she does also psychic readings and mediumship. Mediumship means that she connects with deceased loved ones, whereas psychic means, from my understanding, that she's connecting in with what's around your energy field in your life at the moment. So thank you so much, Carissa. I remember you being here, and it was such a pleasure to have you expressing and telling us how you became a psychic, or how you worked into that. I think that, Carissa, you were the one that said that, or maybe it was Lisa, or maybe both of you said that when you were in high school or in school, you certain things you didn't need to study because you just knew the answers, and then you realize later it's because you were psychic. You knew the answers, and that's one of the positive sides of being psychic. You know answers to multiple choice questions without really having to study. So let's go on to that. So if you out there listening are having something like that happen in your life, perhaps you are also psychic. In fact, we basically all are psychic. That's a way of being, a human way of being that we have been taught not to be. But when we look back at history, the human being is a mammal, is an animal, and that's how animals communicate, is telepathically, and that's how humans used to communicate before we had language. We communicated telepathically, and so it is a natural way of being for all of us to communicate through the ethers, through the mind waves, the energy waves of the ethers, and also to be able to connect into the truth that is everywhere in the ethers, because our life is in the energies that's all around us. So that's a way of being that we all can tap into. And so the next person that I'd like to say hello to and thank you to is Catherine Samuelson, another psychic. Catherine came on my show with a book that she had written about the heart, and it was an amazing book, an amazing process. And you can Google Catherine Samuelson. She's an author and a life coach, and I think she just moved to Vermont at the end of 2014. I think in November she moved up to either White River Junction or Heartland or somewhere in that area. So she's kind of close to us now. She was closer to Boston. So Catherine, hello, and thank you for being on my show in 2014. And she brought with her The Wisdom of the Heart, and her book that she had been working on for a long time, finally published. Thank you, Catherine. And Lucia Reed. Wow, all these people are psychics and mediums that came on my show early on this year. Lucia is a friend that I met a long time ago, or maybe who comes from Charlestown, New Hampshire, way almost over on the Vermont border, over on the Connecticut River Valley. So thank you, Lucia. And Lucia came and spoke about her passion, which was well, that's coming. My brain doesn't work anymore. I'm going to go on to this empty brain syndrome that I have. But Lucia has been a psychic medium all of her life, and her mother was also a psychic and a medium. And Lucia has been attending that wonderful school in London called Arthur Findlay College, the AFC, which is the college that is the model for the Harry Potter books. That there is actually a spiritualist college in London, England, or just outside of London, that the Harry Potter books were modeled after. And Lucia has gone to that school and swears by it. If you want to become a psychic, that's a great school to go to. And so thank you for that, Lucia, that information about the Arthur Findlay College. And she continues to attend that school, I think, every year, a few times a year, because it enhances her psychic abilities. They really push your limit over there to get up on stage and read the audience. That can be kind of frightening, even for seasoned psychics, because being in front of a crowd, you're kind of put on the spot. And the next person that I'm going to give thanks to is Wendy Burchell. Wendy Burchell, she came from Western Massachusetts. She came all the way from the Springfield, Massachusetts area, Springfield and Holyoke and Chicopee, I'm not exactly sure, or Northampton area, to come all the way here, 2 hours or 3 hours, I forget how long it was, to be on my show when was that? Well, sometime earlier in 2014. And thank you, Wendy, for bringing your amazing story about how she became or found her psychic gifts, and how she has grown into this place of being really afraid of the psychic gifts to now flourishing with them. And she creates these holistic fairs in the Northampton, Springfield area of Massachusetts, of Western Massachusetts, that are amazing events. And so if you're ever out in that area, check out Wendy Burchell and see if there's anything going on at the time that you're there. And she works with angels, and she's an angel reader, and she designs jewelry on that bent of angel jewelry. And so amazing people, amazing person Wendy is. And it was so lovely to be at her event. When was that? Was that October? Or maybe it was in April. Anyway, it was amazing to be at her event this year. I did go, and she allowed me to speak it to an audience. It was a great time, and I sold my drums, and I also did feather readings, I believe, and it was a great time and a lot of beautiful people. And that's really what this is all about, is connections, connecting the communities from here to there, connecting the dots, and feeling that feeling of community, which is so heartfelt. And that's what the show is also about, New Earth Lifestyles, is offering up a new community, or a community of different types of people. We think of community as being like-minded, but not necessarily. We can all be different-minded and live in the same community, or get together and learn from each other, and then grow, and then grow, and then continually grow, so that we become happier, healthier, stronger people in this world. And so that we find our purpose, and we live our purpose, and we live our passion passionately. And that's what we are all here to do, I do believe. And I'm getting closer and closer to that, and I give thanks to this TV station again, because if it weren't for this, I wouldn't be as close as I am to wherever it is I'm going. I don't even know where I'm going, because I don't really put goals out there. I do put dreams out there. I do have dreams. I do have things that I would like to accomplish. However, I don't say, in order to get there, I need to do A, B, C, D, and E. I say that's where I want to be, and I allow God or source energy to kind of direct me. And it's usually not a direct, straight line. It's usually, it might even be something that you would think has nothing to do with where you want to go. But you enjoy it, and it feels good, and it fulfills you, so you go there. And then the next thing, you go to it, and you feel good, and it fulfills you, and you enjoy it, so you go there. And then you go there, and then you go there, and pretty soon you're at where you wanted to be, and you didn't even know how you got there. And that's what I mean by letting go of the need to set goals. Look at the end product. Have your dream, the dream of your life that you really want. And you don't have to think about it every day. You put it out there. You just let it go. Let it go. I have this dream. And every now and then, sure, you might see a picture of something that reminds you of that, or you might have a picture on your altar of what that dream is. But you don't plan on how you're going to get there, because you could get there tomorrow, just like that, the snap of your fingers, and none of your planning would have happened. Or it could take you as long as it's going to take you, based on how God or life force energy, moves you through the obstacles to get there. And you need to go through certain obstacles or life experiences, so that then you have the wisdom to be able to maintain when you get to where you're going. And things like that we don't know we need. But someone up there knows these things. Someone up there, around here, wherever, knows better than me. And that is my higher self, or I don't know if I should say this, but my God self. That part of me that is eternal. That part of me that is you. We are all one. We are all one in this sea of love, this sea of energy, this sea of consciousness. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It just is. God cannot be created nor destroyed. It just is. Could they be the same thing? Anyway, that's what I allow to run my life. And I can tell if I'm on the right track by how I feel. If I'm feeling happy and joyful and yes and great and this is the right thing, or just feeling really good and grateful, then I'm on the right path. If I'm down and I'm sick, if I got the flu, if I ache, if have an accident, if I stub my toe, oops, I'm not on the right path, am I? So it's pretty simple to see if you're going in the right direction in your life, simply by how you feel. And if you are a person out there that's living with a what's so-called terminal illness, or a life-threatening situation, that's a huge, huge wake-up call for you. That's a huge opportunity for you to learn about how you can change your life to be happy, healthy, and strong. And take that illness or that life situation, and rather than pushing it away and walling it off and saying, I don't want this, what if you were to embrace it and look at it and say, okay, I see you. What are you here to show me? What are you here to teach me? I'm going to pay attention to you rather than push you away. I'm not going to be taking drugs that are going to cover over the symptoms necessarily, or maybe you need to, but look at that. You need to look at that. And little by little, you can maybe wean yourself off of those drugs little by little as you become more aware of what the message is in whatever that thing is in your life that's keeping you from being happy, being healthy, pardon me, being strong, knowing that you're living your life the way you want to live it. So there are a lot of things out there that happen to us all, but what if you just use them as a learning tool? A learning tool. And I know it can be difficult for people that have had chronic problems all of their life. And, you can take it or leave it. If this doesn't resonate with you, well, then you can leave it. But if it does resonate, if there's a kernel of something that is the truth for you, then you can take it and go with it in whatever direction feels good for you, whatever feels right for you. And there are those out there of you that feel good staying with whatever you're doing, and that's perfectly fine. Whatever maintains the life standard that you have, if that's where you want to be, that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. The show just gives you suggestions, or as I say, new ways of looking at whatever's going on in your life, whatever that is. And so I'm going to take a little break and have a little bit of water. And the next person on my list is Norman Moody. Norm, thank you for being on my show. What a thrill that was, having you sit here and talk about your life and how you became psychic, or how you acknowledged your abilities, and how about your show and everything. Thank you, Norm, for being on my show. You teach me every day. You teach me every time you come on or I'm together with you. So, Norm Moody. And then we have Wendy Fletcher, another Wendy Fletcher. Thank you for being on my show. Wendy is another psychic. She's a Reiki practitioner. I think she's now living in southern New Hampshire, somewhere in the Hampstead-Salem area. Let's have a gong to Wendy. Oops, and a gong to Norm. Oops, and a gong to whoever. A gong to the sacred breath. The sacred breath. So thank you, Wendy Fletcher. You can find her at the, I think one of the regular places that she goes to and offers her work along with her regular healing space in southeastern New Hampshire is the Newburyport Arts Festival, which is held at the UU Church in Newburyport, Massachusetts. So there's a place, if you wanted to get in touch with Wendy Fletcher again, you can go there and check in. She also has her own website, wendyscottfletcher.com. And then Isabel Tierney. Isabel Tierney was a colleague of mine from Barbara Brennan School. We graduated from there together in the year 2000. Remember Y2K. Isabel, thank you so much for being on. She was on my show through the telephone. We had a telephone interview, and Isabel is an amazing psychotherapist, family counselor out in Boulder, Colorado, and she's doing amazing work with women's images of their own body and helping people to lose weight or have a better image of yourself. So you could Google Isabel Tierney if you wanted to get in touch with her, if you remember her being on my show and said, oh, yeah, she had something important for me to say. So thank you, Isabel, for being on my show. And next, Dorothy Morgan. Dorothy came on twice, and in fact, last week I did read an astrological reading from her that she put on Facebook regarding the winter solstice. So thank you, Dorothy Morgan. She's an amazing astrologer here in New Hampshire. If you're looking for someone to read your astrological chart, your natal chart, she's the one to go to. And thank you for being here, Dorothy Morgan. And my friend Saul Solomon. If you recall Saul's show, he is very passionate about homeopathic cures or homeopathic medicines. Homeopathic medicines are very potent, yet they're so gentle that the science community cannot find anything in them that resembles a cure. And this is Saul Solomon's, one of his loves, because he has kept his family healthy for 40 years on homeopathics. And if you're interested, that's something you can Google, is homeopathic medicines. They are from the earth, and they are broken down smaller and smaller and smaller from the essence of a plant. They are plant-based or natural from nature, and they are broken down by adding distilled water to them or adding a base to them, so that eventually there's really nothing that science can find in the remedy. However, the energetic imprint of the original mother plant is in the medicine, is the medicine of the homeopathic. And that is what does the curing. It's a similar thing. It's similar to whatever's going on in your body. And so Saul was here and talked about that, and about having a homeopathic first aid kit in your home. And that's how he's kept his family healthy for 40 years, living without health insurance, which is possible, and he's living proof of that. So thank you for being on my show, Saul Solomon. Ginger Farah, you'll be coming on next, I believe. I want to say thank you to Ginger for being on my show, and thank you for showing us more about some of your background, about your history and who you are. I really did appreciate you being on my show, Ginger, and if you're out there watching, my deep appreciation for all you do and all that you bring here to Manchester, New Hampshire, and on your show, which is Level Your Playing Field. Yes, how can I forget that? But thank you, Ginger Farah, for being on my show this year in 2014. And thank you for continuing to be an advocate for those people that need someone to speak up for them. Matt Connerton. Hello out there, Matt Connerton. IPM Nation. Matt is an amazing person. He's really into music, and IPM Nation was created to help the up-and-coming bands in, bands, rock and roll bands, or I don't know, heavy metal bands maybe in the Manchester area, to give them a start on a radio station, to give them a head start and some play time. And he's also an amazing hypnotherapist. I know that he helps people quit smoking and all kinds of other things. So thank you, Matt Connerton, for being here on New Earth Lifestyles in 2014. Maybe we'll see you again in 2015. So some of these people hopefully will be on my show again. Adam Bristol. Adam came on. He was talking about the Urantia book. Adam, you can connect with him. He's into, he has a business called Current Concepts, and he works with hooking up networking systems in businesses. Thank you for being on my show, Adam. It was so lovely to have you, and I hope that you'll come on my show again as well. Adam Bristol, thanks for being on New Earth Lifestyles in 2014. And Rosaline Brussiere. Rosaline is an herbalist, many words herbs, and she's up in the Barrie, Vermont area. She has amazing ability to help people heal through the use of herbs. So connect in with Rosaline Brussiere if you're looking for help with herbal healing. Bernice White, she is my friend from Bermuda. She comes to London, New Hampshire every summer, and White Light is something she works with. She has a healing practice in Bermuda. Thank you, Bernice, for being on my show and for bringing your light here to the state of New Hampshire and to the United States. From there, Barbara Woolley, my good friend, Barbara Woolley. Love Works Miracles is her website. Barbara wrote a wonderful book. Let's see, I don't have the name of the book. Out of the Box is the name of her book. Her adventures through life. Very amazing adventures and miracles that happened to her for many, many years. So thank you, Barbara, for being on my show. If you watched Barbara's show, you can look her up at loveworksmiracles.com. Barbara Woolley, thank you for being on my show. Steve Wilson and Betty Comerford. Sorry, I can't have a hard time with that name for some reason, and I think I'm not the only one, but Steve Wilson and Betty Comerford, they co-wrote the book, The Empathic, the Reluctant Empath. And thank you for being on my show and introducing people to what you do, the shamanic way, and the fact that we all probably are empathic people, and that's what being psychic is about, is being an empath. So thank you, Betty and Steve, for being on my show. And they have the Sacred Healing Grove is in Mason, New Hampshire, if you're interested in learning more about shamanism or shamanic practice. And our spiritualists also, Steve is a spiritualist minister, and he once a month, I think, has a spiritualist service at the Healing Grove Yurt in Mason, New Hampshire, so you can connect with them if that's something that you're drawn to. So thank you for being on my show in 2014. Amethyst Wildfire. Amethyst Wildfire. We had such fun when she came on my show. She has a program called The Empowered Empress, and she's done so many amazing things in the past few years. She's a life coach and abundance coach, and you can Google Amethyst Wildfire if you want to know any more about her. We had so much fun when she came here. Thank you for being on my show, Amethyst. She also had a store, Amethyst Wildfire, in Nashua a few years back, and that's how I got to know Amethyst, by doing some workshops there at her store. So thank you, Amethyst Wildfire, for 2014, your appearance on New Earth Lifestyles. And Kathleen McManus. Kathleen is now in Nepal. She's been living there since she left when right around the 1st of November. She's been in Nepal working with Dr. Tellerin and Dr. Tellerin's orphanages in Nepal, working with, he has orphanages that house and help 10,000 orphans, and his goal is to find homes or to house or have orphanages for the 100,000 children that need help, that need homes and a safe place to live. And so Kathleen McManus is there in Nepal doing the work, helping these children that are in need of help. So thank you, Kathleen, for being on my show in 2014. And her website is alternative-skin.com, and she is, I believe, she's putting out a book. I don't know if it's out yet, on alternative skin care. She's a holistic esthetician and a face reader, and she read my face, and it was amazing to have someone read my face. So thank you, Kathleen, for being on my show. The next person I wanted to thank was David Young. David Young Music. He came here with his 2 amazing flutes, more than 2, I think he had, his Renaissance flutes, and talked about his book Channeling Harrison, and now he has an audio book called it's Channeling Harrison, Lennon and Harrison. I can't remember the exact name, but you can Google David Young Music if you want to know more about David. Thank you, David, for being on my show this year. I hope I see you again next year, and I wish you all the best. And finally, Nancy Montville. Nancy Montville was on my show a few weeks ago. And Nancy of Legal Shield. And she came on my show talking about her origins, her parents coming over from Germany, and how that was to acclimate during World War II. And what a fun time we had. Thank you, Nancy Montville, for being on my show. It certainly was a lot of fun. And I just noticed that I am missing Tom McElroy. Tom McElroy, thank you for being on my show. He was from the Christian Science. He's a Christian Science healer. He was here, I think, in October or November. And I'd like to say thank you to you, Tom, for being on my show, and I wish you all the best. And if you're interested in Christian Science healing, he is an amazing healer. And I resonated with him so much because he just sees people as already healed, and that is so powerful. So powerful. So there you have it. That's the rundown of my show 2014. Woohoo! A lot of people came on. I hope I get a lot more people coming in the next year, 2015. Life is good. Couldn't be much better than that. I'll have my singing bowl, although I may change the format. I may change things around because that's what life is about, isn't it? Change. Nothing stays the same. I'm not sure if I'll have this singing bowl. I might do something else instead of gonging to help me to breathe and relax and help you to connect in with yourself. I might do something different in 2015. I know another thing that I'm very grateful for this past year was my drum making workshops. I was tallying up my tally of workshops in 2015, and I tallied up to, so far, 72 drums were either made or that I sold, that I made, are on the planet now. Just in 2014, 72 more drums, and I have someone coming on Friday to look at more drums. So by the end of the year, I may have 75 or 80 drums sold. Though that would be so amazing. My goal from sometime back in the past was to put 100 drums a year on the planet. So I'm kind of getting close there. Now, and I haven't really counted a whole lot in the past, but I am counting now. And the last time I counted, I was up to 60. So this year, I'm already up to 72. We got another week to go. If you're interested in drumming, I'm the one to contact. And I do have some drum building workshops coming up, scheduled in January and February and March and April. So I have a lot of workshops coming up already in 2015. And that is my passion, is getting drums out there and helping people get back to the roots of shamanic practice, the roots of the earth, of connecting to the earth and learning from the wisdom of this planet that we live upon. And by coming back to the earth, she is a peaceful, caring being, this earth, our Mother Earth. So thank you especially to Mother Earth for supporting everything that I do, everything that all my guests do, and everything that you do, Mother Earth supports. So thank you for the clean air, the clean water, the roof over my head, and the food that I eat, and the fire, the divine spark in my soul. Thank you to Mother Earth. And thank you to you, my viewers, again, for being there and for all of your connection with me during the year. And please feel free to call me at any time, either on the show or the number on your screen, the number, my office number, and leave a message. And I'd love to hear from you. So thank you for joining me in 2014, and I look forward to more fun in 2015. And if you have anyone that you think would like to be a guest on my show that might fall in the realms of New Earth lifestyles, of stuff that doesn't fall within the range of normal, then by all means, call me up or text me or email me and see if I can get them on the show. So until next time, until 2015, this is the end of 2014, I will see you again in 2015. Wahoo! And until then, remember, your heart knows the way.